Hello, St. John's family. It is so good to be with you. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching and sharing with us over these many weeks. It seems like we have not worshiped together in ages due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But I am proud to say to you today that that is about to come to an end. Our bishop has given us great leadership and direction during the pandemic. And part of his direction is that if we so choose, is to hold in-person worship beginning June the 7th. That's the first Sunday of June, and we so choose. I'm proud to say that that will be our first Sunday back together for in-person worship. After a whole lot of talking and discussion and prayer and discernment, our administrative council formed a safe return task force team, and those team members are Debbie Abels, Brad Hawkins, Reed Trusty, Dr. Mike Bowler, Kate Evans, Danny Edwards, and Courtney Kimmel, and myself. And as a team, we have worked long and hard at coming up with a plan for our safe return on June the 7th. And as you could certainly guess, it is not going to be what we're used to. It's going to look different. And it's not going to be like what we've experienced in the past. Because what is important to us is the safety and the well-being of our church family. So we hope, as a team, we hope you know how important you are to each one of us, and your health and your safety is a major concern for us. So what we want to ask as I share with you this morning on behalf of the team, is that you give us grace and flexibility and understanding as we sort of navigate this uncharted territory. I want to share with you today the guidelines for a safe return. But I also want you to know that we're going to make these guidelines available through social media, on our webpage. We will email them as our church newsletter, but we're also going to mail hard copies. We want everybody to be able to see the guidelines and kind of look at them and understand them, and that's part of the reason we thought it would be a good idea to share them with you this way over this camera and stuff that adds so much. I don't even want to go there. So anyway, what I want to share with you this morning is our guidelines. One of the things that we want to say first off, and we hope you understand this, that if you are I think the 50-cent word is immunocompromised, or if you have a fever or flu or any symptoms, we want to invite you to stay home. We know that that's probably not polite or Southern hospitality, but we want to certainly invite you to join us on Facebook, on YouTube, or visit our church webpage. There's a lot of ways that you have been joining us, and we want to invite you to continue to do that. In this letter that you'll get, you'll see a couple of questions, and there's a safety scale and just some things to kind of help you decide whether you would like to return or not. And you'll see that on the back of the letter. It gives you an example that says, if you score 4 points or greater, and these are some of the things that were shared with us and we want to share with you. Like 1 point would be if you're 60 years old or older. That's not for me. 1 would be if you're Hispanic, and that's not for me. 1 is if you have a little extra fluff. That would be a point. Things like that, just a way to help you kind of see if you're ready for return. And then it asks you questions like, do you have chills or a temperature? Or have you taken fever-reducing medicine? Are you experiencing shortness of breath? Just like I did coming up all these steps to get up here to be with you today. So some things on that just kind of help you to make a decision. So without any further ado, I want to share with you our guidelines. And again, I'm just going to share them with you, but you will get these either by mail or electronically. So we will offer, this is a little bit of a change, and I hope you note this, we will offer 2 regular services, which is our normal, but the change comes as follows. Our early service will be held at 9 a.m. Normally, we've had an 8:30 service, but we wanted to change it to 9 a.m. so that some folks may be able to make that service. 30 minutes is maybe not that big of a deal to some, but to some it could be. So we'll have a 9 a.m. service and a 10:30 a.m. service. One of the things that we want to share with you is that our church doors will not be open until a quarter till worship time. So 15 minutes before we gather for worship will our church doors be open. So we'll have a church worship service at 9 a.m. and a church worship service at 10:30 a.m. And our best advice that we've gotten for attendance is to divide our church family by alphabet. And these guidelines were really tough. It was really tough for us to come to this, but we really feel like it's the best thing. And one of the things that we thought is by dividing our church family into by alphabet would help us open up the church for more folks to join. So the last name, if your last name begins with A all the way through K, A through K, we want to invite you to join us at 9 a.m., A through K. And if your last name starts with an L all the way through to Z, L to Z, we want to invite you to join us at the 10:30 service. We figure that is about the best split as far as number of folks that we can get in our church. And also know that we will probably alternate those Sundays so that everyone can worship at a time that might be most convenient for them. We know that could be a little confusing, but we'll try to get word out and just remind folks before that Sunday. And we ask that our more seasoned church members, I don't like the word older, but you know, our more seasoned church members, if you choose to join us for congregational worship, we are asking you to attend the 9 a.m. service, no matter what your last name is, because we feel like if there would be any exposure, that might be a lesser time with less exposure, I guess is the right way to say that. So we ask our older members, if you so choose to worship with us, that the 9 a.m. service may be the best time for you. One of the things that we are asking is that everyone that enters the building would wear a face mask. And we know that that's not popular, but we also know that we're called to love one another. And this is one of the ways that we can show our love for each other, by caring for one another. So we are asking that everyone that enters the building wear a face mask. And one of the things that we're saying is we're inviting you to put that face mask on before you exit your car. And also know that we will have ushers available that should you not have a face mask, we'll have some here at the church to share with us. But we need to know that before you come into the church building. So everyone is being asked to wear a face mask. One of the things I said earlier is that our church doors will be opened only 15 minutes before the service. And in between the services, we're going to lock the church doors so that our ushers can come in and sanitize our church facilities. So remember, 15 minutes before worship will our church doors be open. And note this, that the only doors that will be open will be our main sanctuary doors, the glass doors that everyone enters. Those will be the only ones. So the ones out on Grand will not be unlocked. The ones on the Sunday school wing will not be unlocked. The only doors will be the double glass doors that lead into the vestibule or narthex of the sanctuary. Ushers, another thing, ushers will be there to hold the door for you. One of the things is we wanted to just kind of reduce us having to touch everything, so the ushers will hold the doors for you as well. We will have sanitizer. There will be hand sanitizer available, and we're asking you to use that sanitizer before you come into the church building. The sanitizer will be located there. You'll be able to see it. Usher will be able to help you with that as well. To use hand sanitizing before you come into the building, and it wouldn't hurt to use it as you exit as well. Naturally, this has become a part of our vocabulary these days, but we are asking for social distancing. To remember social distancing is key, and that we're keeping at least 6 feet as much as possible to practice that at all times. And one of the things that we're asking to do, and this is kind of hard because we're a loving church family, we love to be together, and that's part of the reason what's driving us to come back together in in-person worship. But one of the things that we're asking you to do is that there be no congregating in our high traffic areas. The ushers will lead you into the church, and they will invite you to exit the church after worship. So be conscious of that and keep our congregating to a minimum. Also, this is another thing, and this is a touchy subject. I know it's one of those sacred cows, so to say, but our ushers will direct you where to sit. Let me say that again. Our ushers will direct you where to sit, because we're going to fill the sanctuary from the front to the back. And we're asking you to please only sit in those designated pews, and to sit with those from your own household. And if that is to sit with your own household, and also if you are just a single person in a household, or one or two, that you remember on the pew to at least keep 6 feet apart. And when the service is over, as I said, our ushers will dismiss you, and they will dismiss from the rear of the congregation. So we will come into the congregation and fill it from the front to the rear, and we will dismiss from the rear to the front. So please wait for direction, and I'll try to remind us of that whenever we have the benediction. Another thing is, and I've said this and I want to continue to say it, I have been so amazed at your willingness to continue to give for the mission and the ministry of St. John's United Methodist Church. You have overwhelmed me with your love and support for our church and for the ministry that God has called us to do and to be about. So thank you so much for choosing to give your tithes and your offerings to the work and the mission and the ministry of St. John's United Methodist Church. One of the things that we will be doing a little bit differently is we will not be passing an offering plate to take up the offering. So what we're asking is, when you enter or when you exit, you will see some offering baskets at the door. We would ask you to place your tithes, your offerings in those baskets, and they'll be located near the rear of the sanctuary. And talking about difficult things, there will be no children's church or nursery available. And this is that's a difficult thing. We're excited, and we want to be back in church, and we want everybody to be together. So that's why there will be no children's church or nursery available. Now, Miss Carly is excited to share a children's sermon during the worship, but we ask that all the children stay seated with their families and not come down front. We know that's going to be a bit awkward because I think our kids love that time with Miss Carly. I know she dearly loves it. But it's going to be a little bit different. So we want to invite you to keep your children in your pew during Miss Carly's children's time. And here's another thing. There will be no Methodist holy water available. And for those of you who know what that is, that's coffee. We will not have coffee and donuts available. And I get a little emotional thinking about that, because I love me some donut holes. But anyway, so know that there'll be no coffee and donuts available. And you'll probably also notice in the pew that there'll be no hymnals and no pew Bibles, no offering envelopes or pens available in the pews. Again, the purpose and the mindset behind that is just simply to reduce those high touch areas as much as we can. And we will also follow our tradition. St. John's has a tradition of no Wednesday night services for the summer. So we're going to fall right into that. There'll be no Wednesday night services for the summer. And we'll kick back those in August, hopefully. More information will come when that time rolls around. And I've got to say this, and I think I hope Carly don't mind me saying this, but it was a little emotional for Carly to make this decision. But she did not make this decision alone. This was recommended from a variety of sources. And our task force team agreed that we would cancel Vacation Bible School. Again, safety and our children are so important to us, and we hope that you understand that. So there'll be no Vacation Bible School. One of the other things that we looked at is Sunday school and small groups. So for right now, we will not have Vacation Bible School, Sunday school, or small groups in person. One of the things that I would love to encourage you to do, if you're a Sunday school teacher, we have ways and means to help you and your class form together. Cyberly, I think, is the word. I prefer online. But if you and your Sunday school class would like to get together, please let us know. We would love to be able to work with you to help find a way for you and your small group and your Sunday school class to gather. But know that hopefully come August or somewhere in there that we'll be able to bring that back. So maybe we're just looking at a little summer break. But please feel free as a Sunday school class, if that's something you want to do, try to get together between now and the end of the summer. We certainly want to encourage you to be able to do that following all of the recommended guidelines. Again, I need to say we hope you know how important you are to each one of us, and your health and your safety is a major concern for us. I also want to say again, thank you for your flexibility and your understanding in all of this. As we as I said at the start, as we journey this way together, this is certainly something we would not have chosen. But I am so thankful for St. John's United Methodist Church and our church family of how we've pulled together and continued to be the body of Christ, and how we've continued in the midst of this to be the hands and feet of Christ. And we can't do it without you. So thank you so much, and know that we look forward to being together June the 7th. And watch your emails, watch your snail mail, watch your social media, and all of this will be sent to you. Thank you so much, and have a blessed day.